Screen share.
Oh, well, good morning. We're live, and guys, I ain't gonna lie. Elon Musk may be my new hero. So, all of a sudden, the tech billionaire is asking the question, "Who is John Galt?" And okay, I'm making a little joke there. God, I would lose my shit if Elon Musk were to actually tweet like, "Who is John Galt?" or or pack his shit up, move his Tesla factory to Texas or Nevada like he's apparently planning to do. We'll get into that a little bit more. I would love to see the Tesla factory in California suddenly just be vacant with a sign hanging on the door that says, "I left it like I found it." We could call it Elon's torch. So, unfortunately, I think I'm about to overrun poor Cameron with references to Atlas Shrugged, but we gonna have a big old time with that. Um, and eventually I'm gonna pester him into actually reading the book.
Eventually.
Eventually, well, it's Batman Begins, but
But
with
without Batman.
pirates. It's it's Batman Begins, but the billionaire vigilante in Atlas Shrugged is a pirate named Ragnar Daniskjöld.
Right. Sure.
Who steals
Sure.
from the government and gives to the rich.
Wow.
I'm telling you,
Uh,
man, you got to read that book. Um,
so he's like Robin Hood, but he's successful. I'm, man, that is just quick aside. That's one of those things that always bothers me when people reference Robin Hood. He stole from the rich and gave to the poor. And actually, he stole from the corrupt government and gave to the poor. Let's be real clear.
and
He's
gave
giving them
to the
their own taxes
people,
back.
and gave to the people, not to the poor. Okay, that's another misnomer. There is he stole from the rich and gave back to he stole from the government and gave back to the citizens because okay, in fairness, the people he gave the money back to were poor, but the victims of the sheriff of Nottingham were not so much the normal impoverished. The sheriff's corruption and ridiculous taxes had made the local blacksmiths, the farmers, not the poor. No, no, the small businessmen, basically. He had impoverished them by destroying their businesses and their livelihoods through taxation. So it's not like Robin Hood stole from Elon Musk and fed the insane homeless people under the bridge. No, no, no. Big damn difference. Because for one, you can't make somebody not poor by dumping money on them. They'll just spend it. And that's not how being not poor works. So,
So Elon Musk has the cure for whatever ails you.
yes, he says take the red pill. Now, it's interesting and amusing that there's going to be some speculation on this. I don't know why he chose the rose emoji. Um, it says take the red pill with a rose emoji. The rose, the rose emoji. The rose is a symbol. Um, on social media, typically is a reference to or a call sign of the commies. But of course, taking the red pill refers to waking up and seeing the truth vis a vis basically voting for Trump. Um,
Yeah, how many leftists absolutely hate the fact that that iconic scene in The Matrix has got Neo taking the red pill? to come out of the cave. Like,
All of them.
I mean, uh, 'cause,
Yeah, and as far as the lefties and the Matrix go, I've got a whole nother show that I did about the theory of um the Matrix being a thinly veiled story about trans rights. Okay, so anyway, part of what we're looking at, Tesla CEO Elon Musk restarts California factory amid lockdown. Um, Guys, I'm going to be following the Elon Musk story closely for a while now because, I mean, the man just walks around tripping on his own nuts. He he reopened his factory and he was very clear, if you're afraid to come back to work, then stay home. Don't come back to work if you don't feel safe. Which, okay. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. I mean, that's fair. You do what you do, right? But he made it a point to tell the lawmakers in California, I will be, Elon Musk personally will be on the factory floor. If you have to come and arrest somebody, arrest me. I love it. And now he's talking about, well, he was already talking about it, leaving California. Now, when I say Elon Musk is talking about leaving California, I don't just mean that he's made a random comment here or there. Ted Cruz speaking with Michael Knowles on what's it called, The Verdict. They do that podcast together. Ted Cruz has responded to Elon Musk's tweets. Hey, we'd love to have you in California, or in Texas. Bring it on, brother. Get out of California and come to Texas where the weather and the taxes are better. Not only that, but apparently Elon owns several homes in California, and he just listed them all.
Well, part of that's he was planning on dumping a lot of his material possessions anyway. He actually discussed this at length on Joe Rogan's podcast, and
yeah, but he's still gonna have to live somewhere.
Oh yeah, of course he's still going to have to live somewhere, but he is deliberately trying. Yeah, but he is. This is not just because of the thing with California. He's sick of certain accusations that come with being a billionaire, and it's not even that he's really given in. He's just more like, hell, I don't need 10 homes anyway. I'll just sell a bunch of them and not worry about it. So there's some of that wrapped up in there. But yeah, no, Elon is he's red pilling. He's red pilling hard. In fact, speaking of the Matrix, I saw a fantastic meme that had Elon packing up and leaving California, and it cuts to the thing with Morpheus, where Morpheus goes, "He's beginning to believe." Rod's in the comments. Good morning, sir.
Morning. What? No, go away. Not you, Rod. I'm talking to the advertisement. So, yeah, I mean, there's headlines all over the place. Elon Musk ups the ante in Tesla California factory standoff. Also threatened to pull Tesla's operations from California in a complex process that would come with pros and cons for the car maker. No, there are no cons. Okay, you know what? Let me go back to that. Let's see what they say are the cons. Who is this one? This is The Street. Annie Gauss. Elon Musk's conflict with California state officials has escalated in recent days, culminating in a threat to pull Tesla from the state and a looming legal fight over a county-wide shutdown order. He has filed suit against Alameda County and a few particular individuals. I know he's filed suit against Alameda County.
His lawyer's like, oh yeah, I'm buying a second house. Thanks, Elon.
Elon Musk needs to hire half Asian Bill. That.
Oh. That would be.
Musk battle with California authorities further escalated on Monday, with Tesla chief announcing on Twitter that he is ignoring the county's order and resuming operations in Fremont. Yeah, and there's the tweet from when that happened. If anyone is to be arrested, I ask that it only be me. I'll be on the line with everybody. That's a great big sack of nuts right there. He's really standing up for his guys, and he's been vocally aggravated about the whole shutdown thing, and rightly so. Let's be real. Assume for a moment that this disease was as bad as it could possibly have been. We know now that it was not. We know now that the virus is much less severe than we were secondarily told, because, of course, at first, all the left-wing outlets were just on and on about Trump's a madman for shutting down China. This is no worse than the flu. It's just a cold.
Orange man bad,
Orange
racist.
Man bad. Moving its main factory would be a complex process. Nah, it's a move. It's not that bad. We've got military logicians that can handle that shit in no time.
Yeah, and please believe that the local government in Texas would help pave the way.
Like, I've estimated the relocating Tesla's Fremont factory could take between 12 months and 18 months. Bullshit. I was just wrong.
Well, even if it takes a year.
It could take that long, but that's like saying it could take me 3 weeks to bake a cake. Yeah, it could if I'm incompetent and I don't just do it.
Well, not only that, even if it does take a year, so what?
Yeah.
Once the move is accomplished, well, that's it.
Oh, and there's one more thing I wanted to mention.
Yes.
So, like I said, I watched. I was watching The Verdict with Ted Cruz last night, and they were talking about this situation a bit, and I learned something from Ted Cruz that I had not expected to learn. Ted Cruz apparently does not own a Tesla, but has a high opinion of them and wants to get one. And he said very explicitly on the show he wants to get one because Teslas have an app on the... There's basically a smartphone mounted in the dashboard, and there's an app in the smartphone.
I just received the 48.12.1 update, which contains the new romance mode and emissions mode, which is actually a prank fart app in which you put the whoopee cushion on any of the seats that you would like, and the sound will come out of that particular speaker. You can do it where it's on a turn signal. You can select which kind of fart you would like, or a random fart, and then the fart on demand, which is pressing the scroll wheel here to emit the fart. I wanted to prank my son on his way to school.
So yeah, Ted Cruz said he wants to get him a Tesla because of the fart button.
Yeah,
last night when I heard Ted Cruz say I want to get me a Tesla because of the fart button, that was all right. I'm done. It's time to go to bed. That's the end of today.
My brother and sister-in-law, they have a Tesla, and my sister-in-law was talking to me about it because my brother-in-law, he's he's the stereotypical person you think of as being engineering. Dude's got 3D printers, and he works with wood, and he works for a software firm, and like you know, is always like, I want the latest, greatest phone, and all of that sort of thing. And he really, really, really wanted a Tesla. And my sister-in-law is very candid and said, I was prepared to not be impressed. That's what I was expecting. But then by the end of it, it was like, yeah, okay, fine. Let me get a Tesla. This is a neat car. And she took me for a ride in it. And it is a pretty sweet car. And apparently while you're parked, you can play video games like racing games, and you actually use the Tesla steering wheel to play the racing games. Yeah.
And I have not been super pro uh, alternative energy vehicles. To be clear, I'm totally pro actual green energy, actual renewable energy. You show me a good alternative to fossil fuels, buddy, I'm there. You show me one that is developed by the free market because market demand and supply have come together in unison to create something that is a superior product to existing alternatives. Brilliant. But solar and wind isn't it.
Well, not only that, but
And
there's a reason.
well, solar and wind isn't it because it takes so much fossil fuel to produce solar panels and windmills that they cannot overcome the amount of fossil fuel they consumed within a reasonable period of time. It cost a ridiculous amount of resources and money to put those things up. And then they're not as good. They're not as efficient as fossil fuels. And then you start talking about these electric cars, and there's heavy ass batteries in the car, right? Those heavy ass batteries, it takes a bunch of fossil fuel to strip mine out the core minerals, the lithium and all that it takes to make those batteries. The batteries themselves are an environmental hazard. And by the time you've got the car built, you've spent so much additional fossil fuels, so much additional oil and just fossil fuels generally in the process of building the car vis-a-vis the batteries, that car has increased the carbon emissions through its production more than it can reduce your carbon footprint in your lifetime. So right now, as a fuel alternative, no dice. But with electric cars, this is interesting. The electric cars, they go from parked to max as fast as you can put the pedal down. So unlike a traditional internal combustion engine, they don't have to get up to speed. If you put the hammer down, it'll hurt you because it's electric. It doesn't warm up to speed. It just turns on.
Yeah, and then the other thing about electric vehicles is, where do you think that electricity comes from? Oh yeah, for most of the
Oh
country,
yeah.
that's going to be a coal-fired plant. An electric car is the ultimate virtue signal for most lefties. Like, I have money and I can drive a Chevy Volt. Look at me. So yeah, um, really good to have a guy like Elon on our side. Honestly, um, yeah, he's eccentric and weird and all of those things, but A, we've got to have people like Elon Musk in the world. And B, they've got to be given as free of a hand to operate as we can possibly give them. Because it's not your average Joe, that is going to develop the products that he develops, that comes up with the ideas that he develops. And yeah, okay, fine. He put a Tesla on the nose of a rocket and launched it into space. Okay, that's kind of weird. But he put a Tesla on the nose of a rocket and launched it into space. And this is at a time where NASA's basically defunct. Like, we don't send astronauts up anymore. We've got to get help from the Russians. And so without guys like him, without your Steve Jobs, and even Bill Gates, who appears to have been totally co-opted by the left, but without these guys, we don't continue to push things forward. So I've got his back on this, honestly. Like,
100%.
Like, in fact, I just want to ask him, dude,
I mean,
why'd you build the factory there in the first place?
I tweeted to him that he needs to move his factory to Georgia, but of course, I'm not Ted Cruz, so.
Yes. But anyhow, that's all I've got this morning. The walking meme known as Elon Musk
I can't wait to see how this develops. I'm having a ball.
I mean, like, if that's a meme inside a meme inside a meme, I feel like that's a fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break. That's like 16 walls.
16 walls. Well played. Ooh, yeah, we should talk about that on another show. Apparently Deadpool 3 has been canceled, and I'm not happy about it. But that's all I've got for this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go to work. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, good to see you out there, Rod, Tim, and we'll see you tomorrow. Be safe. All right.
All right, man.